than breast cancer.
I am more than gastric cancer.
I am more than Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 3.
I am more than Lynch syndrome.
I am more than metastatic male breast cancer.
I'm more than PMDD.
I am more than diabetes.
I am more than lupus.
I am more than FAP.
Welcome to More Than a Diagnosis. I'm Den.
And I'm Jess. This podcast is about so much more than cancer, chronic illness, or the labels we've been given. It's about reclaiming our lives, finding community, and thriving in ways we never thought possible.
Whether you're a patient, a caregiver, or just someone curious about what it means to live beyond a diagnosis, we're so glad you're here.
Hey pals, before we begin this episode, we just want to gently let you know that today's conversation is raw. It gets a little emotional, but it's also incredibly important.
We're sitting down with our dear friend Liz, who's been living with advanced gastric cancer. Liz is a fierce advocate, a loving mom and wife, and someone who shows up with honesty and strength even on her hardest days.
Yeah, this episode isn't about tying things up in a pretty little bow. It's really just about holding space. It's about what it means to be human when life feels really tender.
If you're navigating illness, grief, or caretaking, please listen at your own pace. We see you and we're with you.
We're so honored to share this space with Liz, and we're grateful you're here with us too.
Welcome, Liz. We're so honored to have you with us today, and your story means just so much to us. We're so grateful that you're here to share your story with us and with our community. So let's dive in. Can you start by telling us a little about when your symptoms first began and how your journey to diagnosis unfolded?
Yeah, so my symptoms kind of started towards the end of 2020, like maybe November, December 2020. I started feeling extremely exhausted. I had no energy for anything besides just my day-to-day, going to work, coming home, getting ready for the next day. No energy for any social life, and I thought maybe it's because of the pandemic, everything going on, working increased hours, but it just felt like I could never catch up with my energy, and my spouse was wanting to do all these things on my one off day, and I was like, dude, no, I have no energy. I need to sleep this entire day. And after so long of that, he's like, what's going on? And I said, I think something is going on. I think I need to go to the doctor and get my blood work checked because this doesn't feel. And so I went to the doctor, and they did the blood work, and they said, no, everything is good. You're healthy. Wow. Everything is super great. Maybe this could be stress or anxiety. Let's see if your workload decreases. Come back in a couple months and we'll rerun the blood work. Wow. Yes. And so did that and came back and continued on with every couple months. Same thing, blood work normal. But then I got a new symptom. My smartwatch kept going off to tell me that my heart rate was over 100 and had been for more than 10 minutes while I was sitting down. Wow. So I thought, that's a little weird. After a couple times of that happening, I said, let me go back to the doctor. So I did. And I said, I'm back, have a new symptom. And so they did a quick EKG. It didn't show anything, any red flags. And they reran my blood work. Normal. They're like, well, we don't really know what's causing this, but we don't want you to have an increased heart rate, so let's start you on this medication to help with that and see if that helps. So did that. I know, so bad.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 31. Yeah,
so you were 31. So young.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so young and healthy, and there's no answer for this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like
stress, of course.
Stress.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna say, Except for stress and your workload, right?
Yes, they kept asking me, like, are you sure it's not stress? I'm like, well, I've always worked in, like, high-stress environments, but I manage it well. I can feel when I'm not managing it well, and I don't think that's what's going on here. Started that medication. A couple months later, I got heartburn for the very first time. I'd never had heartburn my entire life, and out of nowhere, I had this extreme burning sensation in my chest, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And I was like, okay, I think this is what people say that they feel when they have heartburn. But from that moment, it was every single time that I ate, regardless of what I ate, I was eating pastries and getting heartburn. And I was like, something is not right.
Something's not right.
So back to the doctor. I was like, I'm having heartburn, and it's every single time I eat. And I've never had heartburn before. And I was told, well, you're in your 30s now, so you probably can't tolerate certain foods that you were eating before. Let's have you cut back on acidic foods and start you on this medication. And I was like, well, it's regardless of what I eat, even foods that are not acidic. But
You're like, I'm eating a donut. Why is this giving me heartburn?
Yes, it's something that does not make sense.
Rice.
Yes.
Rice.
Plain
Exactly.
bread. Why?
Right. And they were like, well, do you drink coffee? And I said, yeah, I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning. And she's like, well, let's stop that. I'm like, so 1 cup is contributing to all of this?
No.
Yes. So I switched to mushroom coffee. I cut out acidic foods. Yes.
That doesn't sound good, though. Sorry. I just had to throw
It
that in there.
wasn't.
It's not.
It wasn't. I actually have found one that I do enjoy, though, now. But
oh, that's good.
The one that I tried at that time, it was not good.
No. There's some that are just really gross. And it's just not coffee.
It's like a mud consistency. And it's like, no, this is not. I like my smooth, creamy coffee.
So it's chunky?
Yes, it has like that. Like a muddy consistency.
Gross.
Yes.
It's
not
like
the new
almost
one that I've tried.
It's almost like drinking. I feel like it's almost like drinking a protein shake.
Yeah.
But hot.
Yes.
It's gross. I tried it one time when I was breastfeeding, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna drink caffeine, and I was like, nope, this is not good. I cannot do it. Yes. Maybe it's changed since then. That was a long time ago, but still.
Yeah.
I can just imagine the smell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
but
like
I tried
muddy chocolate.
Yes. Exactly.
It's gross.
That's the best way to describe it.
It's weird.
So you switched to the muddy chocolate and nothing changed.
And it didn't help. The medication didn't help. And I was like, I'm getting frustrated. Like at this point, because I've been going back every couple of months and redoing blood work, and I'm not getting answers. This medication isn't helping. I want to start all over. I just want to stop all medication that I'm on, the one for my heart, the one for the heartburn, and I just want testing done. I want you to tell me, hey, we did this test, this is what it is, and this is the medication for it, versus let's try this medication first. So I slowly weaned off my medications. I didn't want to go too fast because I was like, oh, well, this one slows down my heart rate. I don't want to cause any issues. So I did take, I think it was like a month or two. I slowly decreased how often I was taking it and how many pills a day I was taking. And during that time, my weight started dropping very fast. So I lost 15 pounds within those 2 months.
Wow.
And and I wasn't eating super healthy. I wasn't working out. So I was like, hey, this weight is dropping. And everyone around me noticed. They're asking, why are you losing weight? Why are you getting smaller? What's going on? And I said, I don't know, but I'm planning on going back to the doctor anyway, so we will figure this out.
And I'm sure it was super noticeable since you're a tiny person.
Yes, I'm very tiny, so it was extremely noticeable. If I lose 5 pounds, it makes a huge difference. So 15 pounds, it's
and in such a short amount of time.
2 months.
Exactly.
How much time had elapsed since you started your symptoms to the point where you lost weight? how much time
2
had
years.
passed by? 2 years?
2 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
At that point,
So
it
you
was
just
already
kept
2
going
years.
back to the doctor with new symptoms and...
Yep. And rerunning blood work. We did do a sleep apnea test too to see if that was contributing to the fatigue. Nope. We did a heart monitor test. No results. So we were running other little tests in the background, but no answers. It seemed like we weren't getting anywhere.
And were you going to the same doctor that whole time?
I was, but there were 2 different doctors there that I was seeing. So I don't know if that helps or hurts because it's like, okay, second opinion. But I do feel like one of the doctors kind of took more of a sense of urgency as far as like running tests, whereas the other one was more like, you're young, you're healthy, it's fine. Just take this medication.
Which I find mind-blowing because I can't imagine giving someone a medication without trying to figure out what's actually going on because the medication could easily mask symptoms.
Exactly.
So how would they know?
Yes. I'm like,
Did those
this is a
medications
Band-Aid.
you were taking,
Yeah.
did they actually like help with some of the symptoms?
So the one for my heart, it did slow it down. So that did help. I wasn't experiencing that increased heart rate. And then if I did like forget to take a pill, of course it would jump back up. But I still didn't have answers as to what was causing my heart to do that.
Yeah.
The heartburn one did not help at all. So I was like, okay, this is just frustrating me. I've been eating all these nasty foods, taking this medication, and it's not getting me anywhere. Yeah, and it just felt like as time was going on, it was just more symptoms, and I was like, okay, I need different tests done because this is not okay.
Yeah.
So at what point did they start taking this seriously?
So once I started losing weight and I was weaning off the medication, I made the first available appointment, and before I could get into the appointment, I experienced for the first time where when I went to eat, it felt like I couldn't breathe, felt like the food got stuck, and I was like, okay, maybe it's just stuck, let me grab something to drink. And I tried to drink something and it was stuck as well, and it felt like I was drowning. And I was like, okay,
How scary.
I couldn't breathe. Yeah, I couldn't breathe and I'm freaking out. And then it finally passes. I'm like, okay, that was weird. And then it happened again, and both times that it happened, I was eating bread, so I thought maybe it has something to do with bread. But then before I got into my appointment, it started happening with meats and other foods as well. So I was like, okay, I think there's something bigger going on. So I went in and asked for them to repeat my blood work. I told them I've also lost weight, I'm having this difficulty swallowing, and she was like, well, we've already been running your blood work. Everything's been healthy. Everything is great. And I said, but I've lost like 15 pounds in 2 months. And she looks at my chart and she says, oh, you have.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I told you I lost this. You weren't looking at this? Okay. But she said, yes,
Wow.
you've lost. And then it seemed like she started to have concerns. She's like, and I don't really like what you're saying about the swallowing, so let's get you to a specialist. Like, now you don't like what I'm saying after you see the weight loss.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So then I got referred to a gastroenterologist. First available appointment was not for 2 months. Yes. So I was like, okay, more waiting. That's fine. We've been waiting this entire time. Go in. She didn't like what she was hearing. She's like, let's rerun blood work. Let's do a CT scan. We'll possibly do an endoscopy and colonoscopy. Blood work came back great, super healthy, as we know. CT scan did not show anything alarming. So she said, okay, let's do the endoscopy and colonoscopy. So I went in for that procedure and I was already exhausted. I'm like, we've done so much and we have no answers. Yeah. Do I really want to do this? I had spent so much money at that point, and I remember telling my spouse, should I even do this? I just feel like I'm fighting for answers that I'm never gonna get, and we've spent so much money. And he said, no, something is wrong. We need to figure this out. Let's have this done. And I'm so thankful that he talked to me about that and talked me
Absolutely.
into it, because
Were you trying to talk yourself out of it?
Yeah, because it was going to be like a couple $1,000 more for this procedure. We've already spent thousands and we've had no answers. It was just, we were already in a stressful situation. And so I was like, you know, do we keep doing this? Like, how much more can we do when we're not getting answers? And I was like, well, maybe it is stress. Maybe everyone is right.
But were you getting worse that whole time?
I was.
Yeah.
So it was like I wanted relief, but I wasn't. I don't know. It just started.
Yeah.
I guess I started to doubt myself.
Of course.
Because I wasn't getting answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you start to question, is it me? Am
Yes.
I the problem?
Exactly.
Which,
like, am I creating this?
Right?
Yep. I
don't
think
know.
so many of us who have gone through any kind of major diagnosis at one point or another or several times have that feeling of like, I just, is this in my head? Especially when the doctors don't believe us.
Yes. Exactly. And they're
and our
telling
blood
you,
work comes back fine, and they're like, you're so young. And,
you're healthy.
But you know something's wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. So we did the endoscopy, and 5 days later, we got the call back, and he's like, I'm the person who did your procedure. Just want to go over your results. You know, we found H. pylori. It's a common stomach bacteria. It looks like you contracted this when you were a child. Looks like you've had it for a very long time. And he's like, and with H. pylori, when it goes untreated, sometimes it can turn into gastric cancer. And that's what we're dealing with. And just kind of got quiet in that moment. And I was just like blinking and staring at my spouse. We're looking at each other like, did he really just say that? And so I said, I'm sorry, so I have gastric cancer? And he said, yes, it's stomach cancer, also known as gastric cancer.
How did you feel in that moment when you finally got a diagnosis after all of this time of you self-advocating and saying there's something wrong?
It was like a sense of relief. I finally have answers, but I was also in a state of shock because I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
I just was, I don't know, I wasn't thinking stomach cancer throughout, you know, fatigue, elevated resting heart rate. It just, that was not on my mind.
Did you have any ideas of what you thought it could be?
I had no idea. I was just like, what is going on? My body is throwing out all these weird different symptoms and they're not closely connected. So I didn't know what it could be.
Wow. That's wild. And that's a long time so was it 2 years from the initial time that you were feeling those symptoms till the time that you got your diagnosis?
At that point, it was actually 2.5 years because when I met with the gastroenterologist, they still didn't have availability for the endoscopy for 2 more months. So it was like another 5-6 months from the time I got referred out to the point of my diagnosis.
Wow. So what has changed the most then for you since your diagnosis?
Oh man, a lot has changed. I've definitely learned the importance of advocating for yourself. I've learned to trust my gut when something doesn't feel right, push for more, express my concerns. My entire life has changed since that diagnosis. Multiple surgeries, chemotherapy. I mean,
can you share with us a little bit about what surgeries that you had to go through and what things happened after that initial diagnosis, just for folks who might not be familiar with your story?
So we know that the cancer did not show up on the scans. I later learned that because this is a diffuse type cancer, it does not show up well in imaging. So the only way that they can find it is through biopsy. So they knew that it was stomach cancer, but they were not able to confirm if it had spread outside of the stomach. The only way to know for certain was to do a laparoscopy, which is a surgery where they make tiny incisions, go in with cameras, and look around. So we did that. Unfortunately, it came back that it had spread, so that made this stage 4. And while I was having that procedure done, I also had my chemo port placed in my chest, so 2 for 1. So after that, we started chemo, did treatment. I did standard chemo for 4 months, and they told me, you're going to be chemo for the rest of your life. We're just trying to buy you as much time as possible and make you as comfortable as possible. Wow. And I was like, whoa.
That's a lot to process.
That. Yeah, because I was already struggling with the stage 4 diagnosis, just feeling like my entire life was ripped away. And it was just like, okay, now we're just trying to make you comfortable as you go out.
Wow.
Yes. And I said, I appreciate y'all for doing that. However, my goal is I want to have my stomach removed. I know that that is necessary. I know it's not typical for stage 4, but I will do whatever I need to do to get that back on the table. Y'all let me know. So 4 months later, they let me know there's a trial opening up where you can receive a port in your stomach, deliver chemo directly to your peritoneum. This will open up the option for you to have surgery, to have your stomach removed. And I said, great, sign me up. I want to do that. So had that surgery, had the port implanted, started chemo, did that for about a month and a half. And during that time, we did see a cyst that was on one of my ovaries, looked concerning. My surgical oncologist told me that when he went to place the port in my stomach, he saw my ovaries and they didn't look too normal. He said, I would advise you to remove them. He said, I can't be for certain, but I feel like we need to remove them.
Yeah.
So it was a little tough.
Yeah. Because not only are you facing the potential of losing your stomach, and then now you are going to look at losing your reproductive organs as well.
Yes. Yeah. And it really hit hard just because the years before that, my spouse and I were trying to have more kids. We were actively trying, and it wasn't going in our favor. And we decided to take a quick pause. We're like, let's just regroup. We'll try again at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well, I got diagnosed before the end of the year, so it was kind of like on the back burner. And then now finding out, like, okay, you're not going to be able to carry a baby with your own eggs.
Yeah.
So it was pretty heavy, but just weighing the options and considering the risk, it was like, okay, well, I need to be here to have another baby. So, you know, maybe we can look at other options. We always wanted to adopt as well. So it doesn't change our family growing. It just changes how it looks. So let's go ahead and remove them.
For sure.
And that was a whole nother ordeal that I had to deal with. Yes. I had to meet with a different surgeon who was going to do that. And she did not agree that I needed to remove my ovaries. She said that I was healthy, that my ovaries were healthy, that on the imaging they looked great. And I said, yes. However, with this type of cancer, everything looks great until you go in. And my surgical oncologist said that they don't, and we need to remove them. I had to advocate for myself. It was very unpleasant. She made it seem like I just wanted to have my ovaries removed.
Which is
when you were
wild.
Trying to have a baby, why would you want to have your ovaries removed if you had plans?
Exactly.
Every time I hear this part of the story, I mean, a lot of parts of your story, but this one just, especially when a surgeon had already gotten eyes on your ovaries and said they look abnormal.
Exactly.
You know.
And to question your oncologist on top of that.
Yes.
Like as if you were going in and making it up.
Right. I'm like, he referred me to you because he felt like, she said, yeah, I'll talk with him. Everything looks normal. And so I was like, after that appointment, I was like, well, we're still going to remove them. And I had to meet with her the day before surgery. And when I walk in, she says, so what are we doing? And I said,
oh my goodness.
we're removing the ovaries tomorrow. And she did not agree. She was very upset. She called my surgical oncologist during that appointment to talk it out with him.
In front of you?
Yes, because she's like, I'm going to take this to the board. I don't feel comfortable. And I said, I'm so sorry. Like, I want you to feel comfortable, but...
You're like, yeah, you're going to cut me open. You better feel comfortable.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to, play it safe here, but I'm very adamant. We are removing these ovaries, but what do we need to do to get you comfortable?
Yeah, right? Like, come on, let's do it now. Like,
yes. And so, she called him. She talked to him. It seemed like she was really worried. She's like, well, I don't want to remove her ovaries. And, you're removing her stomach. And then it comes back that the ovaries are not cancerous. And then I put her through all of this. Who's going to take the blame on that? And he said, well, I will. I'm the one who advised this. Yeah. And she said, okay, at that point, then, yeah, if you're going to do that, I'll do it. But then she said, well, Alyssa also said that if you go in and see that the cancer is so bad that you won't remove her stomach. And he said, that is correct. And she said, okay, so if you make that decision, then I'm not removing the ovaries. And he said, yeah, that's fine. And so a lot of stress going into surgery, not knowing if I was...
That's terrible.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah.
So you had the surgery.
Yes, I had surgery. And going into surgery, getting ready to go under, I don't even know if I'm going to wake up and find out that we did what we were supposed to do, or if they just stitched me back up.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know until you wake up. Like,
yes. And the poor nurse, when I woke up, I asked her probably like 50 times, but they removed my stomach, right? She's like, yes. I'm like, okay, and my ovaries? She's like, yes.
What about my ovaries?
Okay. And you said they did, right?
Both of them, right?
Just probably like, girl, just rest.
You're like, no, I need peace of mind. Please tell me what happened to my body.
Exactly.
So what did you find out besides the fact that they did actually remove them?
Yeah, so I found out that they removed them, and then a week later I found out that the ovaries were cancerous. Cancer had spread there. I'm glad we went with my gut feeling and trusted my surgical oncologist.
Mm-hmm.
And I never got a call back from the surgeon who did the procedure. She told me that she was going to personally let me know the results because she was pretty certain that it wasn't cancer.
And then she ran away with her tail between her legs and
yes.
never apologized like she should have.
Wrong.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm sure this must have been so validating. Scary, but also validating. And basically, your body. Mm-hmm. It just further confirmed what you knew all along. Mm-hmm. That something was wrong.
I feel like out of all the folks that I've connected with over the last 2+ years, every time that I hear your story or hear parts of your story again, it never ceases to amaze me how much you have had to advocate for yourself from the very beginning.
Yes.
And that you just have had to push back so much and in ways that you really shouldn't have had to do as a patient. And that it just doesn't sit right,
Yes, it's
especially
crazy.
With you being at it's not like, okay, no shade to small towns, but it's not like you're in some podunk small town with one oncologist, one doctor. You're at a really well-renowned cancer institute that is known all over the world.
Yes.
And you're dealing with that. That is just, I feel like it's just a picture of our healthcare across the board, which is just really sad. Really sad. So can you talk a little bit, just briefly, about what it was like for you after having that surgery and learning to live without a stomach, both physically and emotionally?
Yeah. So the first couple days were rough in the hospital. They want you to not eat or drink anything. And then you slowly move to ice chips after a couple days. And then we moved to clear liquids. And all of that was okay. Then we moved on to full liquids, which is like creamy soups. So at that point, I think it was more like a mental thing because I want to say I was starving, but I didn't have a stomach to tell me that I was starving. But my brain was like, where's food? We haven't had any food. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And yeah, the creamy soups just weren't cutting it. My brain was like, what is this? We're not chewing anything.
You're like, give me a cheeseburger.
Yeah, so it was a little rough.
Yeah.
But then after that, I would meet with a dietitian once a week. She would go over how everything was going, and she slowly advanced me. So after week 1, we moved to soft, bland foods, which was better. I was able to have like mashed potatoes, like very lean, clean cooked chicken with salt, no pepper. They're like, pepper is too much. You can't have any spice. You could just do salt.
Oh my goodness.
It was so bland.
Oh,
and I'm a big foodie, so I was like, I guess, but I really want better.
You're like, I want some like garlic and
this needs
all
some
the spices. Oh man.
And like limiting fat, so like no cheese or anything. I'm like, this is horrible. This is torture.
I'm sure that that's got to be so difficult, more mentally and emotionally than even physically.
Yes.
Because that's a huge change.
Yeah, I think throughout all of this, I've come to realize how big of a role food and drinks play in our lives. When you meet up with a friend, you're meeting up for coffee, lunch, dinner. When you celebrate people's birthdays, anniversaries, you go to a dinner, and it's like, oh my goodness.
Everything revolves around
everything. And now I am adjusting to this new life. I'm having so many restrictions. I have to watch what I eat, and it's like I'm checking out the menu stressed out, like, are they going to have something for me?
Yeah. And it's like you can only eat so much. So it's almost like food became a chore.
It was.
No longer a source of just enjoyment.
No, it was definitely high focus because I wanted to maintain my weight. We were trying to get as much protein as possible, as much calories as possible, but in small meals, and making sure that we're not going over a certain amount of fats and sugars and fiber. And then having to wait 30 minutes after and before eating to drink anything. So all of that, plus having to eat every 2 hours, it was a very tight schedule.
Yeah, that's a lot. So did you have to keep that up like indefinitely, the eating every 2 hours and being like on a schedule as far as making sure that you were getting the calories that you needed?
Yes.
And how long did that last for you of being able to eat that way until things shifted to where you are now?
About 9 months. Yeah, 9 months. So typically people can live without a stomach and continue that way for years. There's people that have 20 plus years. It's completely normal with no issues. But I started having issues around October of last year. I started experiencing regurgitation. I would go to eat something and it would come back up. And it wasn't like throwing up. It was just like it got stuck and it would come right back up. Like my body did not agree with it immediately. And at first it was kind of sporadic, but then it started happening more and more and more. And I'm telling my team, like, hey, I'm like, hey guys, I'm throwing up. I haven't thrown up. That was the first time. And it's like 9 months later, why am I throwing up out of nowhere? And they said, well, let's see if chemo will help with those symptoms you're experiencing. Maybe it could be the cancer. If the chemo, addresses that, it could help alleviate that. And I said, okay, let's see. But it was getting worse and worse. And so I'm telling them, okay, now I'm struggling to even hold down liquids. And they said, okay, we're going to get you a GI. We'll try to get you an endoscopy, but we're going to have to stop one of your medications. So there will be delay with that. But we put the referral in. So then GI calls me and they're like, yeah, we have an appointment in 6 months. So I'm like,
oh my goodness. So no sense of urgency again.
No. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm not holding anything down. I'm losing weight rapidly. I need to see someone like yesterday. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yes.
After all you had already been through.
Yep.
And how they had already seen that you really do know your body and that something was wrong. I can't believe that they didn't say, let's trust her. She was right all along.
Exactly.
Like,
she's not one to make a fuss unless there's really an issue going on.
Right? That's wild.
She can't hold anything down, not even liquids.
Yes.
But, so were you able to then push for them to do it sooner, or?
Yes. So when I told them that, no, I have not been able to hold anything down for a couple of days, they said, oh, okay, well, we have an appointment tomorrow. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
So you go from 6 months to tomorrow.
Yes.
Make it make sense.
I don't know if this just didn't get flagged right, or did they not put what I was experiencing in the notes? I don't know, but I'm like, this was not a casual follow-up appointment. This is I have an issue.
Yeah. And I imagine you had lost weight because you couldn't hold anything down, right?
Yeah. At that point, I had probably lost 20 pounds, within a couple of months, and I had already lost weight from removing my stomach. So.
Yeah. And that it had to have been triggering to be going through all of that, almost like you're going through it all over again.
Exactly. It felt like deja vu. I was like, this is very familiar. Something is wrong. I'm telling you, my body does not start losing weight rapidly unless there's something going on.
Yeah. That's wild. And already, and they know already that the type of cancer that you have doesn't show up on scans.
Yep.
And so it just makes sense that that's the next step that needs to happen.
Yes. I'm like,
it makes sense to us.
Yes.
Well, and what's crazy is okay, well, Den's a nurse, so she doesn't really count. But we're not medical professionals. So we don't know, but we're hearing your story yeah, you should really do that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Like you said, Liz, yesterday.
Oh, man. Yes. So you had the endoscopy. And what did that show? Or confirm, I should say.
So when they went in, they were not able to get the scope through at a certain point, and they had to dilate me, and they were able to get it through. And so they took some biopsies, and it came back as great. So at that point, the endoscopist told me, he's like, so what I believe is happening is the cancer in your peritoneum is closing in on the outside. It's closing in on your intestines, and it's creating a blockage. And that's not allowing any food or any drinks, any liquids or anything to go through. He's like, these scopes are so tiny, and I could not even get that through.
So basically confirmed what you had an idea of what was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because I'm sure at that time you probably thought, this is probably cancer.
Yes. I was like, I think I have a blockage. I don't know what kind of blockage, but I think there's cancer there. So it's not on the inside, but it's on the outside closing in.
Yeah. So were they able to go in and remove that cancer for you, or what happened next?
Because it's in the peritoneum, they're not able to really do anything for that. It's kind of like it's floating around, but not... Yeah, they don't have a way to remove it. The only way that we can do anything is with chemo, and that's if it responds to chemo. So they're like, we try to do dilation to help, but obviously that didn't help. We wanted to do a stent, but now knowing that it is cancer, that's not going to help.
Yeah.
It's just the cancer is going to continue to grow, and it's going to push that stent out of place. And then we're looking at preparation. It's a huge risk. So now we need to look at other options. At this point, I was already on TPN, total parenteral nutrition, receiving everything through my bloodstream. And they said, so now we need to look at getting you a feeding tube. And I said, okay. And how long is this for? And he's like, well, for the rest of your life, just because, we're not able to resolve the blockage.
Yeah. That must have been so hard to hear, because you've kept up hope and faith that things are going to continue to turn in a good direction, and things were going okay for, like you said, like 9 months, and then suddenly for it to take this turn. I can only imagine how it must be for you to make these adjustments around these limitations of now not being able to consume food in the way that you've gotten used to consuming it, that you've already had to change.
Right? Yeah. It hit me so hard because, I had struggled, and then from the point of the regurgitation to the point when they told me it was going to be feeding tube, I was holding out hope. I'm like, I just want to eat again. I just want to enjoy a meal with my family. I want to sit down and enjoy eating with them. Like, that's all that I want.
Yeah.
I'm like, I never took it for granted, but I will never, ever, ever take it for granted.
Yeah.
And then being told, like, no, it's not going to happen. It was just like...
It's a huge blow.
It was.
Yeah. So what helps you cope on the especially hard days?
Lots of love. Lots of self-love. I really have to listen to my body. Honestly, that part was the hardest part. I've gone through so many struggles throughout this diagnosis, and I've made sure to meditate, to journal, to do earthing, to listen to music that soothes me. Just really pouring into myself and, connecting with others. All of those things would help me get out of those moments of struggle. But this time that wasn't helping. Nothing was helping. And I just fell into like this deep depression, and I was like, okay, Alyssa, this is big. You have to just let yourself be here right now.
Yeah.
This is where you're at. You're in depression, and it's okay. You don't want to stay here. At least you're aware, and you know that you want to get out, but you have to allow yourself to feel this. Keep trying the things that you're doing.
It's such a hard place to be in.
It is, because it's like, I don't want to feel this way, but...
Exactly.
It's not stopping. I could not stop thinking about how much I just wanted to eat. It's just constantly on my mind, and it was just so, I don't know, it was pretty devastating. And so at that point I was like, okay, let me reach back out to my therapist, because it had been some time, because nothing is working.
Yep. You're like, I've used all the tools in my toolbox.
Yes.
And I still am feeling in the dark.
Yes. I was not okay, and I didn't want to be around anyone either. And it's like, okay, now
you're like, I'm self-isolating. You're like, okay, nope, can't do it.
Yep.
I think that shows such huge emotional maturity and growth, though, to be able to recognize that you're in this place and you've tried everything that you could try, and that you're reaching out for help.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Looking back, I'm like, okay, I probably shouldn't have waited that long. But I think I was just like really holding out hope. Like, you can pull yourself out of this. You pulled yourself out of
You're like,
so
I can
many
do
things.
this.
Yeah. Yes.
I've done it before.
Just keep up with the self-love. But it was like, no, it's not. We're not there.
Not enough. Not enough.
No.
So I'm sure that going back to therapy, do you feel like that has helped you to get to a different place?
Yes. tremendously. I am back to my normal, my new norm of like I have my moments where I struggle, but I can do the things that I do and get out of those moments. I'm not stuck. I definitely felt stuck before, and so I'm glad that I got past that.
It takes a huge amount of discipline, and I think that, you know, not to go to the inspirational porn department, but I feel like for folks who are struggling to be like, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Like with everything that you've gone through. And I think that, you know, the way that you've continued to share your story so publicly is such a good lesson in that.
I find it incredible that after everything you've been through, I mean, all of it from the very beginning, that you still have this sense of not just self-advocacy, but also advocacy when it comes to gastric cancer and spreading awareness.
Yeah.
And literally screaming it from the rooftops because gastric cancer needs more.
Mm-hmm. It does.
So what drew you into advocacy work in the gastric cancer space, Liz?
I think a lot of it just stemmed from like my personal experience, and I learned so much that it's just not, that information is not out there. Like I never knew that a cancer could not show up on imaging. I thought, you know, you hear about cancer, you're like, oh, they found it on a scan, they found it. And it's like, no, for this, it will not show up on imaging. So then what do we do? Well, we're still doing these scans every couple of months. Why are we doing this? Because it's the approved standard of care. And I'm like, we have to have better options. There has to be something else that they can do to watch this cancer instead of just doing these scans and basically being in the blind. Like, we don't really know what's going on. We're going based off of how I'm feeling, what my blood work looks like, and hoping that something will flag in the scans, but it hasn't to this day, even when it's been at its worst.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense to me. Are they doing these scans to make themselves feel like they're trying to do something? They're checking the boxes. Even though it makes no sense to
and honestly, it's just because that's what's been approved from way back when. And I'm like, okay, well, we've learned a lot more, so we need to, you know, do some research and figure out, is there other imaging, is there other procedures that we can do that are less invasive? There has to be something. But just trying to raise awareness so that other people don't fall into similar situations. I don't want other people to be like, well, the scan was great, my blood work is great, so I guess I'm healthy. I want to be like, no, if you don't feel okay and you know something's wrong, keep pushing. Keep pushing for answers.
Absolutely. Have there been moments in this advocacy journey that have affirmed that you're making an impact in people's lives?
Definitely. You know, I started sharing my story on TikTok because whenever I was diagnosed, I couldn't find anything, and I wanted to help other people. So I've been putting my story out there, just kind of journaling my experience, and I've had so many people reach out to me and say, because of you, I pushed the doctors more and I got a diagnosis. And some of it has been for other diagnoses, but some people have told me, you know, my father was experiencing things, we pushed the doctors, and he has stomach cancer.
Wow.
And now, because of you, we caught it at stage 3. And I'm like, okay, that makes me
That gives me the chills.
Yeah, I got goosebumps.
Me too.
Yeah, it just made me feel so great because it's like, at stage 1, 2, 3, they do have a couple more options. There has been where they've been able to cure it. So yes, that's what I want. I don't want anyone to have to go through this at all. But if you are, I'd rather you have more options and just have a better experience. And not feel so like, okay, all we're doing is these scans and we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, for
Absolutely. Sure. And not to sound cringy, but just listening to you and the fact that I just got goosebumps hearing someone say thank you, and because of you, my dad's gonna live a little longer.
Yeah.
You know, it's inspiring, Liz. No cringe. No
Thank
cringe
you.
whatsoever. I don't have other words except it's inspiring. The fact that you've gone through so much and are advocating, and you can see the fruits of your advocacy and the difference you're making in so many people's lives. So many families' lives are different because you stepped up to bat and you're voicing and screaming all of this out.
Yeah.
But back to the gastric cancer, what do you wish people understood more about it?
I would definitely say that it's extremely underfunded. It is one of the 5 top deadliest cancers. The death rates are horrible. The treatment options are very limited. There are many types of gastric cancers, but a lot of them are treatment resistant, and that already puts us in a bad situation. And then the treatment options, there's just not enough. There's not enough research that goes into it, as well as observation. We start at observation. That's how we can find it. And we can't find it with scans. We can't keep up with it with scans. So there has to be something else. So I wish people knew that, just not only for like your own health, but, you know, just to know, because I hear a lot about different cancers, but I did not know about any of this about gastric cancer until I was thrown into this world, and I'm just like, this is insane. It feels unreal that this is the reality.
Yeah.
And going back to the fact that they said you're so young.
Yes.
But I also feel like that's part of the problem, because what we're learning is that cancer doesn't discriminate upon age. And cancer in general is on the rise in the younger population, and I feel gastric cancer is one of those.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
And you voicing what your symptoms were and how well you knew your body is going to give someone else who may be, you know, pushing their symptoms away or explaining them away, that's going to help them question their symptoms and say, maybe I should get checked out too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Definitely. I hope that people do take that from this. No, I can't change my circumstance. I can't change my future, but I just really hope that by sharing what I've gone through, others will, you know, really consider what they're feeling. And if you don't feel right, just keep pushing for answers. Get a second opinion. Ask for tests. Don't just take the medications that they offer without having confirmation of, you know, what's going on before I start this medication.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And I don't know, you trust your doctors. Like, you wouldn't think to question, but with something like this, I mean, just thinking back, I had H. pylori. At what point did this turn into gastric cancer? Maybe if I had got in an endoscopy earlier, we could have found this when it was still H. pylori.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I would have just had to take antibiotics for a couple of weeks, and then that would be it.
Yeah.
My life could be completely different. And that's how much of an impact it can make. So it's like, yes, please, if you don't feel like something's right, push for further testing.
Absolutely. I think it's a lot, because not only has this impacted your life in such a major way of, your whole entire lifestyle has shifted in the matter of 2 years, but it doesn't just affect you, it affects your spouse, and it affects your son as well. Can you just speak to a little bit about how this experience as a family has shaped your bond and how you navigate this together?
Of course, you should always live life in the sense of, you don't know if you're promised tomorrow. None of us know that. But we now have this heightened awareness of how precious life is. and we don't know how much time we have. None of us ever do, but it's just really at the forefront. So we've been trying to spend a lot of time together, create as many memories as possible. You know, beforehand, you probably wait, like, well, can we really afford this? And I was like, you know what? We have to figure this out one way or another.
We're doing
Just
it.
Book it. Like, we got to do it. The rest will get figured out, but like we don't know how much time we have, so we gotta do what we gotta do. Like, we just gotta make it happen. Of course, there's a lot of stress that comes with it. My spouse, you know, it's not even 30 years old and has to deal with his wife going through cancer. Knowing that we don't know how much time we have left when we thought we were going to grow old together. So navigating that, and there's no manual to tell you how to go through that. So there's moments where he's dealt with it better, and then moments where he struggled. When he wanted to escape, and I'm there trying to support him throughout all of that. But then it's also like when he's trying to escape and it's creating distance between us, and it's like, I know what he's trying to do. He doesn't want to face this, but I'm here, I'm alive, I want to spend time together. So
and you don't want him to have regrets for wanting to escape it, and so you're like, no, come back.
We're like, we can get through this together.
Yes,
like,
we'll escape together.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But like you said, there's no manual to tell you, okay, this is what you do and this is how you handle it. There's nothing to say this is the right way to do it, or this is the next step to take. Especially with so much unknown.
And I'm a big planner. Like, I keep the household together. I do the groceries. I do the finances. And so I'm like, I'm dying. Oh my gosh. I need to make sure. I was like, hey, I need to go over all the bills with you. I want to talk to you about my funeral, like what I want. And he's like,
and no. I'm sure he's like, nope, don't want to hear it.
He's like, no, we don't, for what? We don't need to do that. And I'm like, well, it's a plan to make things easier for you. And he's like, no, just write it down. I'll deal with it whenever I get there. And I'm like,
you're like, but don't you want to hear it straight from my mouth? Like,
yes. I'm like, what if you have questions? How will you clarify? I'm not going to respond back.
You're like, I'll try.
I will send smoke signals.
He's like, what did you mean by this? And I'm like, I'm trying to. This is why I said we needed to talk this out.
Oh man, you're like, I'm gonna hunt you. I'm gonna try at least. When you need it the most.
So
oh man, that's
trying to find that balance.
That's gotta be so hard, because who at their late 20s wants to or has the capacity to navigate something that you should never have to navigate?
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
It's just so much to try to figure out. And then, like you said, you're going through your own battles personally aside from that, and then to have to try to figure out how that all fits into the puzzle of it all. And I'm sure that has caused a lot of lessons for you in learning about love throughout the journey.
It has.
And what love really looks like,
Definitely. Love is a choice. It is something that we have to put effort into each and every day. And
every day.
It's constantly changing what it looks like. You just gotta adapt, evolve. There's no manual. Just take it one thing at a time and try to figure it out.
For sure. If you had to choose, what would you say that you're most proud of when you look at the life that you've built?
Honestly, I would have to say my son. I'm probably gonna get emotional. He always makes me emotional. I can talk about everything. I can talk about me planning my funeral, but you get me talking about my son, and then I'm just like, I can't do it. I'm just super proud of him. Just seeing the way that he's navigated through this. He's been very strong, which I hate that he feels like he has to be strong. I just want to be the mom and comfort him.
Mm-hmm.
But just seeing him work through this, he's had his struggles, and just every day I see who he is, and I'm just so amazed. Like, I spent so many years with him. 16 years, but and to see like his level of maturity and the way that he processes things, and he's so aware, like he knows what we're dealing with. He knows that I'm dying, and he's able to talk to me about it, and
that's a gift.
Just continue living life. It amazes me.
Kids are so resilient.
They are so much more than we give them credit for.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
As moms, I feel like, I just posted about this the other day, but like as moms, we feel so much heaviness and so much guilt over the things that we've gone through diagnosis that we can't control. And yet our kids, they just continue to prove to us how amazing and how strong they are. And I think that is a testament to us as moms.
Definitely.
And the work that we've put into the relationships that we have with our kids, that they're able to handle these things that no kid should ever have to handle,
Ever.
Yeah.
When I see your videos, Liz, and I see him sitting there, I just immediately say, you did such an amazing job with him, raising him.
Yeah. You can see it.
He helps me. Like, he'll be like, do you want me to help you with your feeding tube? Like, he'll flush it, and he's always offering to help, and just, making my day-to-day easier. He just jumps in. Like, I don't have to ask for it, and it's just like, okay. It's amazing.
He's a good
to
one.
See. Yeah.
Good job, Mom.
You did an amazing job, Liz.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you want to say that you haven't had the space to say yet?
I just feel like the biggest takeaway is advocating for yourself, how important it is to advocate for yourself. If you don't feel right, if you feel like something is wrong, don't settle. Keep pushing. You deserve that peace of mind to know what exactly is going on. You deserve that confirmation, and just do whatever it takes to get that. Don't give up. Don't accept things when you know deep down that you don't feel okay. And then the second part of that is, because of going through this, I have that heightened awareness of how precious life is. I'm constantly telling people, you only live once. I know we always want to find that balance, but we truly don't know how much time we have. Make sure to make time for the things that are important. You're stressed about how will you manage a family vacation. Y'all deserve it. Figure it out.
Yeah.
You don't want years to go by and be like, we haven't had a family vacation in this many years, and now my wife is dying of cancer. Like, it's horrible. So make time and just make as many memories as possible. Prioritize the things that are important to you.
Thank you so much,
Liz. Thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me. It's always a good time chatting with y'all.
It is. We love you so much, and we're so grateful to have had TikTok, of all things,
right?
Bring us together and to help us to get to know your story. I know that personally I've learned so much from you that I wouldn't have known otherwise. And I feel like your advocacy work has only strengthened my own advocacy work. And, it's something that I will forever be grateful for. And, we will continue to share your story and make sure that people are advocating for themselves, because like we both said, your advocacy is unmatched.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You've helped me so much in my own journey. You've taught me so much. And when I start struggling with certain things, specifically food, you pop into my mind and I'm like, well, gotta keep going. You really have taught me so much, Liz. And I will eternally be grateful to you for it.
Oh, you're so sweet. You got me all emotional.
There's so much we could say, but maybe the most important thing is thank you, Liz.
Yes, thank you for your honesty and for your humor and for your heart and for showing up in the midst of going through so much. This conversation was truly a gift.
It sure was. And to those listening, we hope you carry forward something Liz shared with us today, whether it's her fire, her softness, or her incredible ability to advocate while still making space for joy.
If you're walking through something hard right now, please know that you're not alone. There's a community here for you, and there's always love here.
Always. We'll see you next time on More Than a Diagnosis. And Liz, we love you so deeply.
So much.
Thanks for joining us on More Than a Diagnosis. We hope today's conversation left you feeling seen, heard, and maybe even a little more connected.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need it.
And if you're looking for a place to connect with others who truly get it, join our support circle at morethanadiagnosis.org, where we will continue this conversation. It's free, it's welcoming, and it's built for you.
Because no one should have to navigate this alone.
Until next time,
keep living, keep growing, and remember,
you are more than a diagnosis.